नमस्ते गुरु जी। जय गुरु जी महाराज, जय गुरु जी साथ संगत जी। शुक्राना गुरु जी महाराज द मल्टीलिंगुअल जूम प्लेटफॉर्म समस्त गुरु परिवार का स्वागत करता है। मल्टीलिंगुअल ग्रुप की तरफ से गुरु जी के आशीर्वाद से, गुरु जी की असीम कृपा से कमांडर शर्मा अंकल जी की पुस्तक द ब्लेसिंग्स रेडी फॉर डिविनिटी की रीडिंग और नरेशन आज से शुरू करने जा रहे हैं। समस्त रीडर्स को मल्टीलिंगुअल ग्रुप की तरफ से बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं। पार्टिसिपेंट्स को मेरी तरफ से रिक्वेस्ट है कि अधिक से अधिक संख्या में उपस्थिति दिखा के सेशंस को ज्वाइन करें। जय गुरु जी की, गुरु जी का आशीर्वाद आप सबको बना रहे। मैं कुछ समय के लिए ऑस्ट्रेलिया में हूँ, इसलिए टाइम डिफरेंस होने की वजह से अपने उपस्थित होने में असमर्थ हूँ। बाकी मल्टीलिंगुअल टीम की तरफ से आरती सागर आंटी जी इस पूरे सेशन को मैनेज करेंगी। जय गुरु जी, शुक्राना गुरु जी, गुरु जी का आशीर्वाद आप सब पर बना रहे। जय गुरु जी, शुक्राना गुरु जी।
जय गुरु जी, जय गुरु जी महाराज, शुक्राना गुरु जी महाराज, अनंतम शुक्राना गुरु महाराज। संगत जी आप सबका भी बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। गुरु जी आपका तहे दिल से शुक्राना। I have absolutely no words whatsoever to say to express my gratitude to Guruji Maharaj first of all for this beautiful seva, because during this pandemic we all got connected to Zoom and it became our family, even though we haven't seen people in person, many of us, but still एक बॉन्ड जो मालिक ने बनाया है, जो गुरुजी महाराज कह गए थे कि मैं परिवार बना चले हैं, वो सही मायने में अब जाकर बना है। सो थैंक यू सो मच गुरुजी। कहाँ से कैसे क्या हुआ क्या होता है ये आप ही जानते हो महाराज, बट आई कंसिडर माई सेल्फ रियली फॉर्चुनेट टू बी एसोसिएटेड विद दिस सेवा एंड ऑफ कोर्स कमांडर अंकल के सत्संग तो हम सब ही, इट वाज लाइक अ बाइबल, because I remember when I had a conversation with uncle first time and uncle expressed this thing कि ऐसे ऐसे ग्रंथ क्या सोच रहे हैं, so I said uncle it will be really beautiful, क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं हम सब के लिए वो बाइबल है। जितनी भी ये ओल्ड संगत जो गुरुजी महाराज ने फर्स्ट हैंड संगत हमारे लोगों के लिए रेडी करी और आने वाली जनरेशंस के लिए, so this granth has lot more than uncle's personal journey. It tells more about how we have how we should be as a sangat. So thank you Guruji and thank you uncle for this beautiful seva, and thank you Suresh uncle for taking this initiative, and Dr. Neelam aunty for your inspiration on reading this granth. So thank you each and every sevadar who is associated with this platform and this granth. So thank you Guruji, thank you so much once again for this beautiful seva. तहे दिल से अनंतम शुक्राना गुरुजी महाराज, बेअंत शुक्राना।
नमस्ते गुरुजी, सत श्री अकाल गुरुजी, अनंतम शुक्राना, कोटि कोटि प्रणाम महाराज। जय गुरुजी साथ संगत जी। with Guruji Maharaj असीम कृपा and his hukum, today Shukrana Guruji Maharaj the Multilingual initiates the blissful reading of yet another Granth. Blessing ready for divinity is penned by a very dear, respected and elder brother figure and old Sangat Commander Uncle. Thank you very much, entire team of Multilingual Shukrana Guruji Maharaj Da, headed by our dearest Suresh Uncle, for this very thoughtful initiative. I am personally very thankful. This book, this Granth and Commander Uncle is very close to my heart and to many who are right now here or on Facebook or in general, we all know. Reading of one Granth after another makes devotees like me and many explore and divulge the realm of our master, our Lord, Guruji Maharaj, with a deeper insight and clearly gives an insight into the larger truths, which may at times seem hazy and are difficult to comprehend by our little minds. All these truths are so beautifully unveiled with a broader light through books like these. After all, it comes from the first-hand experiences from the Sangats that were chosen by our Almighty Guruji Maharaj himself. As I always say, that Guruji Maharaj himself hand conditioned few Sangats whom we called old Sangat for them to hand condition us, and so the legacy shall go on. It is so good that platforms like Shukrana, Multilingual, uh, through these, everything is being documented, everything is being put onto record. And yes, not just 100,000, but the millions are going to be exposed to this larger realm, the larger truth. Commander Sharma, uncle, just as Sakshi auntie so rightly and beautifully said, we all have, especially through Zoom, all of us got an opportunity to listen to his satsangs. And his satsangs somewhere gave, I'm sure you, so many of you will agree, his satsangs validated so many of our experiences. Like being new devotees, we would experience. I always say that, isn't it so beautiful that whatever experience an old Sangat shares, we have a similar experience. But logical mind, logical thinking comes in its way. And as such, we mortal humans do not believe a thing till we see it. So here comes the magic of the old Sangat who have the first-hand experiences. And when those experiences match with ours, everything is so beautifully validated. Though our Guruji Maharaj, Master of the Universe, Mahashiv himself, does not need any validation. But yes, our minds are too small, our hearts are too tiny to comprehend, to absorb such huge avalanche of divinity which our Guruji Maharaj has to offer to us and is showering on all of us all the time. Commander Uncle is definitely a very beautiful soul, totally chosen by Maharaj, and his satsangs give such a deep view into Maharaj's realm. Whether is his analogy where he so beautifully explains how Mahashiv and how Guruji, how Mahashiv said so in Shiv Puran and how Guruji did so in his mortal form. All of this and many other things have given all of us such a clear view, such a deeper insight that this whole magical world seems makes absolute logic to us. We are very fortunate that we are born in this era where Maharaj's handpicked people exist. I personally feel very lucky that I have been introduced to these souls. I'm able to learn from them. I'm able to listen from them how my Almighty looked, how our Almighty spoke, what he said, what he meant, what he showed. And yes, the title Blessing Ready for Divinity. So for the first time when I got to know about this title, I had to think that Blessing Ready for Divinity. And yes, and in few minutes since through during the COVID times, I had this privilege of listening to Commander Uncle so much. So it became absolute clear to me, just as I pondered about it, that yes, Commander Uncle, through his various hundreds of satsangs, has always explained that divinity is always showering upon one and all. It is on us whether we are ready to absorb it. There are certain conditions where the divinity is able to shower itself fully, and there are some conditions which stunt the shower or which create a barrier between your divinity and you. And not just majorly, but all the time, these barriers are created by us humans. So how to be ready to receive that divinity, and how Maharaj himself has taught Commander Uncle. We all will read through this book. And yes, the beginning of the book shall be done by San Aunty. So rightly, Maharaj is the greatest director. He's our producer and he directs all our moves all the time. So yes, this entire book, as you'll all listen when San Aunty speaks, it all started with San Aunty. And how today on this very significant platform, she is only going to introduce this book. This all speaks about synchronization, um, in the realm of Guruji Maharaj, because nothing is a coincidence, nothing is humanly planned. It's his master plan. And isn't it so beautiful? So once you will start listening to it, you'll understand what I'm saying. And Sana Aunty, on behalf of this platform, Shukrana Guruji Maharaj, the multilingual, and on behalf of Suresh Uncle, who's traveling right now, and on behalf of Commander Uncle, who's also traveling right now, I extend you a very hearty welcome. Indeed, it's a privilege that you are here amongst us to read out the introduction of this beautiful Granth. And Commander Uncle, I'm sure you'll be with us next week onwards. Commander Uncle, thank you for everything, because if I'll start saying that thank you for this, thank you for that, then the next 45 minutes will be spent on that. So Commander Uncle, just these two words, thank you. Over to you, Sananti.
Thank you, Archie Aunty. Thank you, so beautifully said. Thank you to all Sangat. Of course, as we all know, Shukrana, because it's only Guruji who starts this and it's him who ends it. And the whole game and Leela is done by him. And, you know, again, I always go back to Shiv Puran, and he's the cause of all causes, and he takes form in all beings in this universe. And it's all him giving to him, from him to him. But I want to say also thanks to Multilingual page, who has blessed us, again, Guruji, through this form, all of us during the COVID, and it continues to bless the Sangat. And truly, Guruji has a purpose, and this book is that proof of that we may think something, but Guruji Maharaj has a vast, bigger, much bigger plan with the things that happen, with the blessings that he showers on us. And as Aunty said, all the recordings, who knows? Only Guruji knows what will come, but it will be grand and it will be big. Many people, many souls will turn into these recordings, as Aunty said. Thank you to all. I'm not going to speak much because it was beautifully said, the Shukrana that Aunty said. It was so beautiful that I'm sure I can't do better than that. But I like to start by thanking Guruji for teaching all of us and blessing all of us through this grant. Now, let me say, a week before, he orchestrated my conversation, our conversation, Commander Uncle and I, a week before he did that huge blessing when I was howling and I needed Guruji over something that happened in my life. Right before, a week before that, I had a dream darshan of Maharaj, and he gave me a dream darshan of himself that I was walking to Guruji and he was sitting in an outdoor, like, you know, these restaurants that you go to and they have outdoor sitting area. I'm very humble, very simple. And he was sitting in a round table and he was just in very casual attire. If I'm not mistaken, I'm sure it was black pants, but the casual shirt he had on, I think it was red, I think. I'm not sure now, but I was walking to him. He was smiling. He had his legs crossed and he was just waiting for me. And I was just walking to him, and there were 1, 2, 3 other or 4 other empty seats, 4, where Guruji was sitting. And as if like he had another chair closer to him, and as if he was, asking me to come beside him, and he was going to start talking. And he was waiting for me. I knew that for sure. And as you know, in a lot of the divine dreams of his, I mean, for me so far, it's been very, I would get the telepathic message from him. I've never heard him speak, but in my dream, I knew what he's telling me. And he was asking me to come to sit beside him. And, it's so divine that in this dream, he even got my eyes to focus on the empty seats. And a week later, I got to understand what that dream darshan was. And the satsang that I like to share in detail is that in 2018, now the reason I like to share this is because Guruji Maharaj told me so, because once you read the book, you will understand why I had to share this satsang. And it's relevant to an event that happened in 2018, the first time Maharaj called me inside Baramandir. And when I was standing in front of his gaddi in the main hall, while Maharaj had blessed us to do seva, and my seva was done, and I was standing and I was just looking at his gaddi. And back then, he didn't give me the wisdom, the understanding not to ask him for anything. Again, he has told me to use my words very properly, because as you read the book, you will understand why I say he didn't give me understanding, because Guruji Maharaj, through Commander Uncle, beautifully graces us with this understanding that everything comes in his timing, even understanding of his commandments and his hukam. He has the remote control of everything. And in 2018, I didn't have the understanding not to ask Maharaj for anything. And he got me to ask him to marry me to someone that I liked at that time, who was back in Canada. I literally told my Divine Father what to do. I told him, I demanded, and I insisted. Now, I'm not sure which chapter exactly it is that Commander Uncle writes about it, but in the recordings that he's done, and it's recorded on YouTube, it's day number 4 that he talks about it. But I'm happy that the recitations are happy again, so you can just go flow with it and it'll come. But exactly what Commander Uncle did inside the Baraman, I'm not sure if he was in Empire State. I think it was Empire State that he was with another uncle, and he asked Guruji for a job, and Maharaj said, you don't need a job. Now here I am in 2018, I hope it connects, doing the same thing, telling Guruji to marry me to somebody. And that same moment, nobody knew this. It was only between me and Guruji. But Maharaj sent an auntie my way. And was it a coincidence that that year, and it's never happened before, which is not, it's not a coincidence. That year, the Diwali was, he sent me there for Diwali, and the whole Mandir, November 7th for Diwali, was decorated with kaliras. And I got to know in India what a kalira meant and what it represented. And here I am thinking, Guruji just said yes to my marriage. And that's it. Life is just bed of roses, not knowing that, no. He has planted a seed within me. And for that, flower, for that seed to grow, I have to go through learnings. And, he has to put me through his training. And so an auntie comes forward and says, you want to get married, not understanding that Maharaj is saying, marry me, marry my light. Because who is Guruji? Divine light. Marry the light, come out from darkness, come into light, come out from Maya, come into light, come into my realm. But he didn't want me to understand that. And the asking was also his doing. And so when something that was not coming to me before in Canada, the moment I returned back to Canada, because I had insisted for Maharaj inside to his temple in front of him, he made it happen. And this relationship suddenly was available for me. So I held when Commander Uncle shared his divine blessing and his asking experience with Guruji Maharaj, because I understood why Maharaj, made Commander Uncle that year. You know, when I go back, I know I'm going back and forth. When Guruji Maharaj put his head down, when Commander Uncle was standing in front of him, when Guruji Maharaj put his head down, when Commander Uncle insisted on the job, when he put his down and closed his eyes, in that moment, I believe the Leela happened. He manifested this whole thing. He knew that in 2018, another disciple will go through this, incident of asking, of demanding, of insisting, and let me give this job to Commander Uncle, not only for Aunty, but also for so many other Sangat, because this book is truly not for me, it's for all of us. Now, the learning that I said, the learning that I got from Guruji Maharaj through this book was that I was asking only for myself. I want a satsang from Commander Uncle. Let me hear it now, and instant gratification. Let me hear it now. While Guruji Maharaj was looking out for all of his children, not just Aunty, because we are all special, not one. We are all special for a divine mother, a divine father. Nobody is higher or superior or inferior. We're just on different levels. But he looks at, this is that satsang. This is that satsang to prove to everyone. A lot of sangat may say, oh, you are a chosen soul, or you are this, you are that. This is that proof that Guruji Maharaj is looking out for all of us. He created a blessing. Videos came out, a divine book came out, and now look at the Multilingual page, and many other sangat are reading this book and reciting it. So it's for all of us. We want something small, yet he has a huge plan. Anyway, cutting it short, coming back to the day that that dream I mentioned, and then a week later, that relationship, which had ended a couple of weeks before, like Commander Uncle, when he that job, he lost his mental. Same thing happened to me. There was not one day that I did not cry, and nobody but Maharaj knew. And when it ended, I had such self-blame and self-guilt that I hadn't asked my divine father if this was the right way, and I could not forgive myself that I had insisted while Maharaj was telling me, I am the one who made you ask, because you don't know, it has a purpose, not knowing that he wants all of this to happen, and to also teach me to never demand from him, because he has the best plans when we leave it to him to decide for us. He puts Commander Uncle in my mind. I knew that satsangs were my medication. I knew that. I knew I needed healing, and he had blessed me with the understanding to not open my mouth and tell anyone about my problem, but to him. But I needed medicine from him. And I stood in front of him and I said, Maharaj, you can only help me. Commander Uncle is injected in my thought. So he says to me, talk to Commander Uncle. And I go on my WhatsApp and I type, now Commander Uncle, we had no communication. Maybe months before this incident, I had just sent him a WhatsApp saying, Commander Uncle, there's an energy between you and I can't describe it, but when you speak about Maharaj, and it's all in Hindi, I don't understand a word. I understand everything. My soul understands everything. This love that you have for Maharaj, I can get it. Guruji makes me get it. I'm sorry for this I that I say. And, so months before this was there, and we never spoke. Now I went on my WhatsApp and I had his number, and I went and I wrote, Commander Uncle, Jai Guruji, this is Aunty. I would like to hear satsangs from you in English. And suddenly a thought gets injected in my mind. Wow, you are asking again. Aren't you in this position for asking? Now, you see, a lot of Sangat have turned out to me and say, but this is such a simple thing. I mean, you're asking for, satsang. There is no right and wrong. In that moment, Maharaj wanted to create this satsang. Please follow your own. This is why Guruji says one-on-one. One thing that may be wrong for me might be right for you. This is, again, why he says, make a one-on-one, and he will guide you. So in that moment, he told me, don't ask. You don't need to ask for anything. I will give you everything. I will bring everything when it has to come, when it needs to come. So I deleted the whole message and I said, Maharaj, if you want me to talk to Commander Uncle, you make it happen. And 10 seconds later, I mean, it still brings shivers to my, nobody but Guruji truly can understand. And all of you will understand, because I'm sure we all have had that, instant response from Maharaj, and that blessing and grace that it happens when you think it will not, and it happens. And that moment, 10 seconds later, Commander Uncle sends me a video. No communication for months. And here I'm talking to Guruji about Commander Uncle, and he sends me a video. So here I am thinking, that's it. My answer in this video, as Aunty said, we're so limited. And the mind wants to just keep connecting to something and just, again, instant gratification, not letting it be and just allowing. And for me in that moment, I was in that state. Here's my answer, going into conclusion right away. And I'm listening to the video. I didn't listen to the whole thing because it started with Hindi, and I'm like, okay, maybe if I go forward. So I went forward all Hindi, and then I go forward Hindi. And then there's one word that says blessing always, Commander Uncle said in English. And I'm like, Guruji, I know you always tell me what needs to come in English, what you need to know, it will come out in English. But I need more than this. I know this is a blessing, but I need more than this. So I keep going forward, and it's all in Hindi. So in that moment, I said, Maharaj, it's all in Hindi. And then Guruji through Commander Uncle. Again, see Shiv Puran. Shiva takes form in all the beings in the world, in the universe. Commander Uncle writes, I know it's all in Hindi. I had not said even thank you to Commander Uncle, not even a folded hand, nothing. And here he's responding to what I just said to Guruji telepathically. And I started crying in that moment, because I knew in that moment that Maharaj cares and Maharaj loves me, and this whole thing is his blessing. And I said, Guruji, I need more than this. I need more. I need this in English. I need satsangs in English. There's not a lot of it. I need it. And in that moment, but I did see, he made me say, if it's from you. Every single thing he has got me to say, I say, Maharaj, I feel I need this, but bless it only if it's from you. And in that moment, when I said I need English satsang, Commander Uncle writes, but I feel I should do English satsangs. And I don't remember my divine family, what happened to me next. I just found my knees, like I actually, only Guruji truly knows that this happened. I lost feelings of my knees, of my legs, and I don't know how I landed on the ground in my house, and I howled and I howled and I howled and I howled, because not a word was told to Commander Uncle, but here Maharaj was making it all happen. So he actually asked me to share this whole satsang and share that at times we may ask Guruji for something, but the delay that happens is not to just bless you, but to bless all. And would you rather be blessed yourself, or millions of other people get blessed because of an incident that he blessed? Of course, not because of you, because this is all from Maharaj. This is all his doing. And but we have to ask ourselves, sometimes our delays happen, and Guruji has a bigger plan that we could have, like Aunty said, we could have never imagined with our limited minds. I'm going to stop here. I wanted to just share the satsang, and not a day has gone in the last year that I have not gone back to these videos. Guru, I would be driving and I'm going through something. Maharaj says, go to number 3, or go to chapter 1, or go to this last year. My gosh, only Guruji knows what he has done. I promise you, I have gone back to videos and I've listened to them, just like many people will listen to these videos. Your soul might not be ready to grasp Guruji's choosing, not grasp something at this minute, but in a month you may be going through something, and that's the time that your Guruji will choose for you to grasp something. And it feels like, oh, I never heard this before. It's recorded, but how come I didn't hear it before? Because he didn't want you to hear it. You do not know how many times I've gone back to those videos and I'm like, I was there. How come I don't remember Uncle saying this? And Guruji says, oh my God, Pagli, because you were not meant to know this at that time. And this is when your soul is ready to get it. So keep listening listen to him when he says, go back and listen, keep reciting. And I'm so grateful to the Multilingual page for recording it. Going to go straight to introduction. Forgive me if I spoke too much. Jai Guruji, and I'm sorry if I made any mistakes, Maharaj. Jai Guruji, with your blessings, we'll start this divine holy book written by Guruji Maharaj himself, and through a divine soul, a chosen soul, Commander Uncle Ji. Jai Guruji. Introduction. As an engineer and military man, my written efforts have been limited to routine professional communications. Official letters and file notes of late, official letters and file notes. Of late, emails have taken the center stage, yet the contents remained much the same. From 2003 onwards, verbal sharings of satsangs with Guruji Maharaj's Gurgaon Sangat have been my only other noteworthy activity in the field of communication. As my experiences with the Divine Guru, so did the desire to put it all on paper, and I tried a few times as well. However, my skill set in the literary field was simply too limited to go beyond the second page, and that was that. Then came the COVID times, and satsangs, as we knew, came to a stop. I too, like most others, was mostly homebound, stepping out only for a brisk morning walk. Fortunately, Zoom application came to our rescue. In quick time, Zoom satsangs became the new normal. Even though virtual satsangs were no substitute for the good old at-home satsangs, they came with their own advantages. Sangat became global and connected in a true sense of Vasudhaiva, I probably will, I'm not saying this right, forgive me, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which translates to the whole world is one full family, one whole family. The whole world is one family. Soon we were sharing satsangs across the globe with sangat of different nationalities and languages, a practice that continues to date. Completely unknown to me, son Aunty from Canada petitioned Guruji Maharaj to make Commander Uncle, me, share satsangs in English. Guruji almost immediately told her to talk to Commander. Son responded as only she could. Maharaj, if this is your wish, you make it happen. He did, and how. Same evening, Guruji Maharaj made me connect with son Aunty and volunteered to share my complete journey at Guruji's lotus feet with her in English. A few of her friends from Canada, Sangat, joined as well. It was still a tiny group of 5. The storyteller in me was awakened and blessed by Maharaj. It took me 16 sessions to share all that Guruji made me see, experience, and understand. At the end of it all, we had 11 hours of video recording of my satsangs. The contents, if converted into text, had the potential to become a book and fulfill my dream of so many years. I floated the idea in this small group, and everyone in the group readily agreed to this seva. Few more joined from USA and India. The team now had Sun, Nushin, Rashi Gupta, Shubra from Canada, Dirja Bhatt from the USA, Sakshi from Australia, and Archie Sakal, Kushi Gulhar, Richa Kular, and Kushi Solanki, all from India. It took the team many hours of painstaking work of start, listen, pause, type, start to complete the conversion of an entire set of videos into text in quick time. I finally had it all on paper, still not sure if it would make sense as a book. I approached Jitendra Pant, Jitu, uncle, to have a look at the entire material and provide honest feedback. He not only gave a big thumbs up, but also volunteered to edit the entire content. He did a brilliant job and sent back to me a complete book in every sense of the word. His depth of spiritual understanding amazed me no end. He filled in all the gaps, rearranged the contents, and added material as required. His valuable contribution and continued guidance have been the key to this book's final look and feel. Still, I repeatedly went over the book, every time making some changes, not sure if I was ready to let it go to print. Then, as if on a cue from Maharaj, Chetna Kir Aunty, a Sangat and professional writer, appeared on the scene out of nowhere. She accepted my request to look at the draft one final time and recommended subtle changes that made so much sense. We were not done yet. There were a number of items referred to in the text that needed to be photographed and presented in the book. Charanjit Dhiman uncle, a Sangat and media professional, took on this responsibility and did a great job. When Guruji Maharaj gives us a seva, he also equips us with the necessary tools to deliver on it. He knew I am not a writer, and yet he made it happen in his own way through a team only he put together. This book is about my spiritual journey at Guruji's lotus feet. It includes all that Maharaj made me see, experience, and realize. I have no idea where he has placed me in terms of my evolution as his devotee, yet I am grateful, happy, and content to be in this eternal journey. All thanks to Guruji Maharaj. Words fail me in conveying my sincere gratitude to the team who selflessly devoted their time and effort to make this book happen. I now lay down this book at Guruji Maharaj's lotus feet and pray for his blessings for all of us. Commander, Uncle. Gopal Tera Arta. The Guru is an impulse given to the spirit within you to come out. It is he who makes spiritual combustion possible. It is he who can kickstart our spiritual engine. The first lamp is the Guru, says Swami Vivekananda, and the lamp that is lighted from it is the disciple. The Guru does not bring spirituality from the outside. He awakens it from within us. The Guru's job is not of transportation of learning, be it mystical, ritualistic, or secular, but of transcending the ignorance of the disciple. He takes a pickaxe to our ignorance and destroys it forever. The Guru is, in fact, the destiny of the disciple. The Guru takes a form just like the director of a picture takes part in his own film. He creates a role for himself and steps in. He picks up a date and time and chooses a sequence of events. Then he drops into the cosmic picture to change it with his lila. Just such a role was played by Guruji Maharaj. In his form, God himself decided to come down and save his flock. Guruji's blessings not only protect the disciple who has entrusted himself to the Guru's care against any malicious currents of karma, they are also a positive, nurturing force. They provide soil, sunlight, and water for the soul that lies hidden under the imperatives of the mind, body, and heart. Slowly, the disciple blooms. His life is transformed internally under Guruji's care. Shiny materialism is exposed to show that it has only rusty pleasures to offer. Simplicity comes to the force with his fraternal virtue, humility, and the devotee. His singular method of teaching but which proclaim divine truths of one God, of the common message, and unity of different religions, and the common ground of different men who come from one source. They teach us that there is but one aim that human life owes allegiance to, God. They encourage us to make efforts towards spiritual realization. They counsel us to adopt the golden rule of humanity, brotherhood towards one and all. They enjoin us to act in accordance with that rule, serving each other selflessly, helping and never hurting. The significance of the guru is akin to that of a gardener who can find seeds and manure and just the right sun and shade, no matter what the soil type. The gardener spends some time gently digging at the hard soil. With the spade of love, he gently breaks our hardened hearts and minds into soft lumps without unsettling the topsoil of our personality. After tilling the ground, the guru selects the seed that can be dropped into the flower bed. He pats this disciplinary mud around it, which is our sadhana. It can either be introduced with formality or without orthodoxy, with a casual command. But the vital energy that inspires the sadhana is the Guru's grace. Is the Guru's grace. The Guru then waters the seed and steps away for a while. The life of outer circumstances of sorrow and happiness, of yearning and disappointment, of vitality and ill health shines on the young plant. It yearns for true light, and the Guru again steps in. Some weeding is required of our mental habits after a bit of experience gathering. Maybe we need a strong pesticide, or more manure, or some slight tilling. He does what is needed and steps away again. The process is repeated. The disciple is tended and grown until he blooms into himself. The Guru keeps doing this for those earnest in his sanctuary. He sees into the nature of all those who come and understands who is ripe for what. By nature of all those who come and by he sees into the nature of all those who come and understands who is ripe for what. By deep insight, he knows of the shraddha, the commitment and conviction the disciple has, and plants the seed natural to that environment. He does not make everybody into one kind of flower. The Guru is not cloning. He is growing a garden full of all kinds of flowers. The Guru's role is akin to the mother's at home. She feeds, nurtures, cares, protects, teaches, grooms, prods, punishes, loves, forgives, loves again. The Guru is nothing else but the lap of the Divine Mother. To write about his significance is a foolish fancy. It is foolish because the plenitude of his nature and its transcendence can't be described. Thus, whatever is wrought by words can only point to the Guru. It cannot describe him fully. It is fancy because the mediator in the act of writing is the mind. The mind, as we know, is unduly capricious, but an act of grace can easily make it sing to the Guru's tune. Attunement to the Guru gets the mind in line, allowing the ideas of his higher consciousness to seep through. Through the Guru's tending, the aspirant feels a natural expansion of his feelings and thoughts. He loses self-worry and gains concern for others, not through something as blunt and obvious as moralizing sermons, but through a keen method employed by the Guru, which opens his eyes and makes him look into himself and realize his mistakes. The Guru's task is to make the disciple perhaps reluctant, because this is not the romantic spiritual holiday he may have expected, undergo training. How the Guru does this, he only knows, but he uses the pattern of the disciple's life to train him, to make him spiritually fit. This is the most wondrous aspect of the Guru. It is not the supernatural powers he possesses, his intense physical presence that constantly bursts with the divine energy behind it, but the wholesome yet inscrutable way in which he prepares the disciple that is amazing. Certain preparatory steps are called for, though these may not literally follow the same order or even be present for every devotee. First, the disciple must want the Guru. He must develop love for him, for then alone can he trust him. As the novice disciple steers with devotion, he begins to feel inadequate to his love, to this love. This is natural. If you have a superior person, you soon see where you are coming up short. Second, the disciple must want to become worthy of the Guru's love. He will come to acknowledge, without the guidance of moral strictures, his misalignment from what the Guru exemplifies. Third, he must make the effort to purify himself. This purification may be brought about by prayers, rituals, mantras, and other spiritual exercises, but it is not necessary that it should be. A glance of grace from the Guru can set in motion internal processes that bring out and cleanse state of being. It is not a purification that is ceremonial, but a cleansing of the mental swamp that is our common store of mischief. It can come about through sadhana and seva. The karmas that make up the body must be exhausted in service, that is seva. The devotee thinks he's doing selfless service at the behest of the Guru, but it is actually the Guru that is taking pains on one's behalf. And seva is the wish-fulfilling tree, which also provides refuge. Fourth, he must drop the ego. He must cleave less to outer circumstance to fortify himself and depend fully on the Guru. He views himself less as an individual and more as an agency. His commitment of self-seeking and self-aggrandizing goals wanes as he feels their hollow transitoriness and acknowledges their futility. Forgive me. He ropes his ego to something more gratifying, more fulfilling. Yet the nature of the higher good or dharma is such that the ego can't latch onto it. The devotee finds that the dharma cannot feed his ego, and the guru absolutely will not. The effect is that he develops emotional maturity. He may love and yearn for the guru as much as he wants, but these emotions become interiorized. His prayers may continue, but they lose sentimentality and self-pity. The devotee gives up all self-seeking. He does not seek to bend circumstances towards personal gain. Instead, the disciple sees the hand of the Guru in the shaping of circumstances. Fifth, he surrenders to the Guru. Along with the relinquishment of the ego comes the Guru's gift of surrender. It is said that the disciple must surrender to the Guru. But who is going to surrender to whom? How can surrender be willed? The minute it is done through force of mind or even through an act of understanding, it becomes not surrender, but the effect of an action taken up by an individual. A subtle form of the ego hides behind such noble and meritorious acts, for the true cause of surrender is the Guru's grace. Sixth, he becomes one with the Guru. As such, this is not a step, but a consequence of all that came before. The effect of the Guru's grace is rapid after the ego is gone and just the remnant of the personality remain. The personality is then like a shell within which the guru has his adobe. The disciple and the guru are one. The guru works through the disciple, who has lost his sense of wrongful identity and fully knows who he is, to take the disciple towards the realization, as Shri Ramana Maharishi put it, that God, Guru, and Self are one. The spiritual light leaps from one bodily frame to another and passes on ever lit. The guru and disciple thus form an informal tradition of a continuous offering of lights or arti to the divine that is present in everyone, even as it is beyond and above them. Seventh, divine sport. The way once walked assiduously has been transcended. The victorious soul has realized its aspiration and been consumed by it. Now, what happens is Lila. The divine plays through you to bring others to the divine threshold. A fully realized soul who has transcended all limitations becomes godly, turns holy, and remains sacred even when enmeshed in the affairs of the world. Knowledge, power, purification, worship, doership, all these have been bid goodbye. The soul is done. Even God is done. There is nothing to attain, nothing to fear, and nothing to hope for. No beginnings and no ends, for all beings and ends are in one. Being and non-being are the two hands of this divine personage, whose foot is on the earth and whose head in the highest heavens. Through his pores, he sustains the universe, and through his formlessness, he holds it together and goes beyond it. This is not liberation and realization, but the transcending flight of the self. Constant. Our Guruji's blessings remain with the fraternity he nurtured. They are with the humble and the common, the good but deprived, those poor in wealth yet rich in warmth, whose hearts welcome both brother and God. God who is always present, but whose recognition within our heart is only possible with the Guru's grace, which is why in all circumstances and for all time, Guruji is victorious. Jai Guruji. Jitendra Pant. Jai Guruji Maharaj. Shukrana Guruji Maharaj. Thank you. Over to you, Uncle
Shukrana,
G.
Shukrana. Shukrana, Vyant Shukrana, Nantam Shukrana, Guruji Maharaj, for this very, very beautiful and blissful opportunity to come across the words which not just honey our ears, but soothe our soul, and so contents our innermost quest. Thank you, Sananti. It was no one could have done better justice to this very, very great and blissful task ordained by Maharaj himself, penned through our dear respected Commander Uncle, and yes, today read by you. So thank you very, very much for the thought, first of all, that Guruji Maharaj himself instilled in you, the whole equation for which he chose you to build this entire synchronicity on. And thank you for everything. Thank you for this, the light of this day. Thank you very much. And thank you, Commander Uncle. Thank you very, very, very much, Commander Uncle. Thank you, Suresh Uncle. And Yes, every Sat Sangat present or listening. May Guruji bless you all in his million infinite ways today and always. I also request you on behalf of Suresh Uncle and entire team of Multilingual to kindly join in great numbers and soak in this avalanche of divinity, chapter by chapter, word by word, and let's just soak it all. Thank you very, very much. Over to Sun Aunty. Are we done with your part for the day?
Yes, Auntie, thank you. Shukran always to Guruji. Thank you so much. Thank you to you all. Jai Guruji Maharaj.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Nimesh Uncle, over to you for Shukrana. Thank you very much. Jai Guruji. Jai Guruji.
Jai Guruji, Shukrana Guruji Maharaj. Beautiful reading, Sun Aunty. Thank you so much. And Shukrana, Shukrana, Shukrana Guruji Maharaj for beautiful blessings for all Sangat. Thank you so much. संगत जी आप सभी गुरु महाराज जी से आज्ञा ले सकते हैं. जय गुरु जी, शुक्राना गुरु जी, and thank you so much Arshi Aunty and Sun Aunty, and thank you Sat Sangat ji for joining. जय गुरु जी, शुक्राना गुरु जी.
Jai Guruji.
Jai Guruji, Shukran.
Jai
Jai
Guruji, Shukran
Jai
Guruji, Ajna
Guruji,
Guruji.
Shukran.